Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is JD. It's February 19th, 2020, Wednesday, excuse me. Okay, guys, hopped into a Boeing put right now. I'm not feeling Boeing from the standpoint I didn't feel like trading it, but I needed to make a little quick capital, and it's not quick cash. I just saw a move in here, guys, and we'll talk about it really quickly. I don't want it to turn around on me because Boeing can act funny. It's sometimey, but anyway. I hopped in at 337.18 was the underlying, and I grabbed a front month. Front month means the current month, which is I grabbed a February 21st 337.50 put, $337.50 put at the amount of $3.01. It's 100 times leverage on that, so it was $301 for the entry. My delta was 52. I like 60 or better, but they were a little pricey. But the IV was implied volatility was actually in good range. It was at 28. Open interest 1137, and volume was 94. So I like to get 100 volume. I like to have between and 40 and 80 delta. Now my RSI was a little low. It was kind of teetering on the 30 level, but at the higher time frames, it wasn't oversold. So I hopped in, and there okay, sold off in the pre-market. I waited for basically we have separation angle and continuation. And if I add the VWAP, which is like one of my primary moving averages during a intraday, it's key for me, and it gives me a little bit more confirmation. Let's see if we put this on there. Okay, let's go down to the 5 minute chart. I like the 5 minute chart, guys. I like the three, but the five really gives me it slows me down just a little bit to kind of analyze things a little bit better. 336. 336.71. I like to write the tickers down when it's trending. So okay, let's talk about it. Uh, let's put yesterday's low is 336.10, and that's going to be important because that'll be a level of support possibly. We've already passed the pre-market low, which was that of 337.35, and if we back out let's go to the hourly chart, last 10 days on the hourly. I know I have one of those. We'll go 10 days on the 30 minute, which a lot of action on there. Okay, guys, that 336.10 seems like that's that range uh, where some support and some buyers came in a little bit. Buyer came in at the low 336.32. We've beaten that. Oh, what is this open? 336 and the low 336.69. We have a chance to fall, guys, to the high was right here, 332.95. I'm looking at some past levels of where maybe sellers sold and it's sold off, and maybe a shelf of support. 331. Well, we'll just see where we go with this today. I'm giving it a dollar stop, guys, and that kind of the stop loss level. If I give it a dollar stop at $2 for the option, that kind of averages out to 338.87. I'm going to write that down again. 3. And I got in, remember, at 337.18. I really don't want to give up that much, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll let it trend a little bit. But really, what we're watching, I've been in space this morning, and I sold off some of my warrants at $20.64 when the price trend. I looked to the left side of the screen. It trended up right in this area right here. Let's see. kind of trended in that area. That's not what I want on there. We'll remove that. But anyway, Space is gonna. I put a call on Space in the pre-market. Uh, Actually, overnight, it had a trend on it that was so. It was an outstanding. Just the trend looked. It was a clean move, and you could see it setting up because we had a wedge pattern as we went into the close yesterday on multiple time frames, and I'll draw it off the high right here, and the wedge is where we have lower highs, higher lows. So we had a falling wedge basically, and it was the highs were lower than the lows. They were trending at a rate faster than the lows were going. So you'll see the wedge pattern. I'll go into the even further. We'll go into after hours. So I'm tapping the trend lines. So basically that's the starting point. It hit right here is the second point, and it actually trends along those lines. And if I go to the bottom of this particular one, I'm gonna use the low, and I could trend in here, or I could actually trend in that one. But we're going right along these low. Well, I'm going to the bottom of that green doji. A lot of times when you have a falling wedge, that's a bearish pattern, and you look for a break out of that. Now, we had that, and if I move to the 30-minute, let's go there. It's on the different time frame, 15-minute chart, you have the same wedge pattern. Let's go to the 30-minute yesterday. And guys, I need to be managing my position in Boeing, but I'm gonna walk through this quickly. Geez, we'll go 30-minute. Let me zoom in. Same wedge pattern. It doesn't have to be perfect, but we're getting the same wedge pattern on the time frame. So we had the jump, and then you also, as you go into the open today, go to the 5-minute. You see, there was a setup for the hourly was the one that I liked. Let's see what Bowen's doing while I'm over here yapping. 337.09. Okay, I need to watch that, guys. And the wedge pattern, as we went to the open, there was just a setup to where you could see it running, almost a flag pattern, pull back, and then a run up. I expected the sell off, but it was already above. The open was going to be in a good spot, so it opened this morning at 34.30, and that's where I thought I saw resistance in that 34 range, going back to yesterday. But I'll dive on that a little bit later. Let me hop over to Boeing. 30.30. Okay. And Boeing's setting up for a continuation to the downside, guys. We have some. Okay, now let's talk about moving averages and when they cross. I don't like to clog up my timeline with a lot of moving averages and indicators, but I do like the 30-minute or the 30 exponential moving average. That's a 30 period. The 10 period, I'm giving you guys my layout now. 10 period exponential moving average, and this is the VWAP, volume weighted average price, the yellow line. Okay. Price, these are lagging indicators. Price, when it falls below or goes above, the moving averages trail behind. They kind of leave fingerprints. This is the path I'm going. I'm watching the moving average. Everybody tries to buy at that moving average. When price falls below it, and then my first indicator or my first moving average follows it, that's a bearish sign. If it continues down, where we see the 30 trailing that, when they both cross below the VWAP, and I have some separation away from where the price, and then there's a gap between the price and the VWAP right there, that's a powerful downside move. Now, eventually, the VWAP will either act as a magnet or a repellent. And okay, price is going to go down. It'll continue to go down, but it will run back up and test one of these moving averages. If it tests the 10-minute or 10 period EMA, we watch it because a lot of times it'll test it and it'll hug it as it rides down, and that could be an all-day fader, as my mentor used to say, and you basically just ride that all day and don't have to worry about managing it. So we'll see. But the thing about Boeing, I try to keep the news window up and to see if there are any stories. GE boss warns of quarterly cash drain from Boeing Max. Okay, it's always some negative stuff. Okay, we got that. GE stung by Boeing pullback. We know that too. Give us something else, man. Boeing, the debris issue that they found in the fuel tanks, that's scary. But there needs to be, they're going to reveal more about that as we move forward. I just know you can't just mention that like Phil LeBeau does and kind of spin it positively immediately. You got to just let it shake out. So that's definitely something that I want to see. Let's go to the ticker on space, guys. See if we have any news. Kramer on Virgin Galactic speculative play. Excuse me. That's exactly what it is. It's a spec play. These things tend to end badly. Yeah, I mean, this is a new company. It's gonna pull back. You're gonna have pullbacks. You're gonna have rips, dips, ebbs, flows, all that good stuff, guys. Let it ride out if you want it. It's not gonna run to the moon every single day. It has to have the rug pulled out at some point, and it will scare some investors. People will start saying, I told you you shouldn't jump in. Well, don't put Johnny's college money or Lisa's braces money, and she needs to get the teeth fixed. Get the teeth fixed. Maybe take a little bit of your going out money and test it out. Or you paper trade it. You put it in the virtual trade. That's pretty much that, guys. Okay, there we go, Boeing. You ride that. You ride that like a pony. 336.48. And let's see what else we have, guys. Okay. We're on the 5-minute. Let's go to you need to check multiple time frames. And we haven't reached oversold conditions on 30-minute, but look at this powerful move, which we're looking at. We're coming towards that support level. That's the pre-market low. It's pre-market low. Actually, yesterday's low. February 18th's low. Okay, guys, I'm not worried about the profit and loss. Don't pay attention to that. I mean, you do, but you have your thoughts set in place. Now, okay, let's take a look at Ford, guys. Have a buddy that kind of mentioned Ford to me and mentioned I think he bought calls in Ford off of news, and it was probably a few days ago. Thing about Ford, I'm in puts right now. I'm in a February 21st 750 put. Ford doesn't move much at all. Its ATR, average true range, is I think like 19 cents. But Ford had a recall on the 12th, challenging the Cybertruck. I think there might have been something positive a few days before that. The joint venture with Ford selects Lukong subsidiary provider HD map. Maintained it overweight at Morgan Stanley. Okay, there it is. The price target was cut though to 11 a share, but that's still above 8. The thing about it, man, let's look at Ford's. When you first analyze a stock, you look at that long-term chart. When I say long-term, I'm talking about the longer time frames. Let me move. I like to remove the VWAP. You can see it on the longer terms. You can see it a little bit better. But okay, guys, we talk about gaps. Gap up. Ford's best days were in April 29th, and it just stayed at the top. But here's a double top right here. Bam. And then price pulls away and it runs back up and it finds a previous level of resistance. And price has a memory. Price, oh yeah, we got up to here. There's no sellers really at any higher than this, so take profit, take profit. Sell off, bounce up a little bit, then a serious gap down. Then we start that negative trend, bearish trend. Bear flag, there's the pole. That's more of a pennant, somewhat of a pennant, sell off. Bounce a little bit, test where the bear flag went, and there's another double top. Consolidation a little bit right there, sell off. Test where the consolidation area was, gap down, bounce, and it's still below the last little area of support and resistance. Sell off, then we have a nice little run. And then this is where the next bear trend begins, and is basically continuation. We have double tops back here, sell off, a bounce, still below the double tops, bam, powerful sell off. And there's nothing in this chart, guys, that says go long. I don't care if the news is strong enough to push this past. Look at Boeing. It's testing that level that I talked about, the low from yesterday, 336.11. But anyway, there's nothing bullish about this chart. We have a bear flag, a powerful bear flag setting up. Okay, sell off, gap down, continuation with volume. Bearish, continuation, 3 days in a row. This is a daily chart. 4 days in a row. Then you have a doji. And it really has the volume there, it's kind of, they're in between decisions. And then on the 12th, a little pop, but it's still, the bears came back in. It pushed it up, and there's a skinny tail on top. Bears pushed it back in. Another pop the next day. That was a little bullish. It went a little higher, but the bears came in, and then the next day you have your powerful sell-off, which is a continuation of that trend. Then you have a further continuation, and 336. Hold on, guys. 336. 17, 336, 25. And then a continuation of today. And this is it started off as a gravestone doji, but this isn't a doji. This is just the beginning of a candle, of a bearish candle that just hadn't formed fully yet. Do not go long forward unless you are scalping or paper trading. It's in a bear trend, and it's going to be tough as hell to go up. It's just you need something significant. They're gonna need a breakthrough. The Lone Ranger gonna have to come out and say, I was really a black man, and flying cars do exist, and then they'll shut the city down. But anyway, that's a little joke. But we're right here. Wifey's coming in, guys. We're in a tough bear trend, and it might bounce a little bit, but we have the moving averages that are on top of price. And I'm not looking for a big move, but I have some time in forward. No, I don't. Yeah, so actually it's to the 28th. It should be the 28th. Is that let's see when that exit is on forward. Yeah, it expires on the 28th. February 28th is a weekly option, and that's when I'll hop out of that, or I might hop out sooner. But guys, we'll look back at Boeing. That's where we tested the moving average right there, or we tested yesterday's low, and we still have pressure to the downside. I'm going to see if this tests this area right here, but I'm looking for this to go here in the next 3 or 4 minutes, a sell off and a retest of this low right here. So guys, keep an eye on it. I'm staying in there. Let's go back to space and we'll get out of here. Okay, space is kind of it's going to move into a trading range, guys. That's going to be the low. It might go up here. It might just trend like this for the next day or so. Because there's the pullback, guys. That we'll have a doji, and we'll probably pull back into that. We're going to test 2450, guys. We're going to test it. Okay, we need to, or if we test that 20 handle. But if you liked it at 30 and 31 and 28 and 29, you got to like it at 24 and 20. All right. But a lot of selling pressure right here, guys. A lot of sellers were at that level. Look at that volume. That's 104 million. 45 million to 104 million sellers. So, and we are seriously overbought. It's gonna pull back, guys. Just hang tight. Okay, guys. I'll talk to you later. Have a good one.